Okay, we have split this into the following sections: marketing theory, the marketing mix, the importance of brand, promotional techniques, and our case study, M&C Saatchi Teen Road Safety Campaign. Marketing is the physical act of every stage of selling a product, from the initial market research to the advertising and promotion of products to the consumer. Companies use various marketing strategies to create desire within their target market. This desire is intended to create a strong emotional impact on consumers, which will trigger a perception of need. It is the art of persuasion and manipulation. There are several main marketing devices used: advertising, sales, promotion, personal selling, public relations, and direct marketing. But before we get going, let's just look a little at the history of marketing and advertising. Marketing is not new to society. The Romans and Greeks used simple graphics on walls to advertise gladiatorial events. But advertising as we know it today didn't happen until the introduction of the printing press in the 15th century. This, combined with an ability of companies to mass-produce goods in the 18th century, led to a surge and proliferation of advertising. As time and technology moved on, our advertising strategies became more sophisticated. The growth of industry naturally created wealth and disposable income from not just the upper classes, but also the growing middle class. The introduction of commercial radio in the 1920s in America created a greater opportunity for advertisers and sponsorship. More people went to the cinema, and by the 1930s, advertising of household items was common. Now, we are constantly immersed in advertising from posters, magazines, television, and internet to our mobile phones. Amazingly, about a third of a product's cost goes towards advertising. Companies have had to become really competitive to retain their share of the profit. So their marketing strategies have become one of the most important elements of their business. Marketing is no longer only concentrated on the outside consumer or external market, but is now so sophisticated that companies have also identified their internal market. That is, their employees or those who can influence their success, such as their suppliers or associates. Let's look at a selection of early television ads, starting with the first advertisement ever to be broadcast on British television. Think about advertisements on TV now. How do you think they've changed?
It's tingling fresh. It's fresh as ice. It's Gibbs SR toothpaste, the tingling fresh toothpaste that does your gums good too. The tingle you get when you brush with SR is much more than a nice taste. It's a tingle of health. It tells you something very important, that you're doing your gums good and toughening them to resist infection. And as this chart shows, gum infection is the cause of more tooth losses than decay itself. The tingle in SR comes from sodium ricinoleate, a substance which both dental research and years of use in dental practice have shown to be good for the gums. So, to keep your teeth white as snow, your gums really healthy, and your breath really fresh, see your dentist regularly and brush with SR, the tingling fresh toothpaste for teeth and gums. Gibbs SR.
There's one mild cigar that must be taken seriously. Special Panatellas, the big cigar from Benson and Hedges.
My mum's very old, and she's a good cooker, and she tells me to play as my sister. And then sometimes she gets cross when I do. But not very cross, thank goodness.
And his mum thanks goodness for Persil. Persil suds are real soap suds. They get things cleaner, work even harder. And Persil's real soap suds are quick and easy to rinse away. Persil gives a purer whiteness. It makes the care a mother takes worthwhile, because Persil washes whiter, and it shows.
Scary, eh? Now, I'm sure you would have thought of differences relating to representation. Let's look at some of them.
My mum's very old, and she's a good cooker, and she tells me to play as my sister, and then sometimes she gets cross when I do. But not very cross, thank goodness.
And his mum thanks goodness for Persil. Persil suds are real soap suds. They get things cleaner, work even harder. And Persil's real soap suds are quick and easy to rinse away. Persil gives a purer whiteness. It makes the care a mother takes worthwhile, because Persil washes whiter, and it shows.
As a contrast, let's look at some of the modern ads.
From this day forward,
This night will be our night.
our family night, our Bisto.
Hello, I'm a Mac.
And I'm a PC.
Gesundheit, you okay?
No, I'm not okay. I have that virus that's going around.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, you better stay back. This one's a doozy.
That's okay, I'll be fine.
No, do not be a hero. Last year there were 114,000 known viruses for PCs.
PCs, not Macs. So just grab this one.
I think I got a crash.
Okay, if you feel like that'll help, good.
The new Citroen C4, alive with technology.
These are a direct contrast from the early ads in the following ways.
I, James Metcalf.
I, Deborah.
I, Keith Jones, father of two.
Do solemnly promise to you, my family,
To spend more quality time together.
chatting about the stuff of life.
Do what families do.
Which is why we make this pledge.
To change our routine. And for just one night a week.
Come home on time.
Cook a proper meal together.
And sit up at the table.
Eating proper food with a proper gravy.
So henceforth,
From this day forward,
This night.
this night.
this night will be our night.
Our family night.
Our Bisto.
One of the most obvious changes in advertising is the increasing diversity of opportunities to promote a product or service because of technological advancements. However, McCarthy's traditional 4 Ps still apply. These are product, price, promotion, and placement. The product is produced to meet consumer needs. These are identified by research, either quantitative or qualitative. With this revision guide, for example, a need has been identified that A-level students require an alternative to written revision guides. Alternatively, a need can be created. For example, diamonds. We can't eat diamonds. They have been marketed to women purely for their perceived aesthetic beauty. A leading company who produces diamonds, De Beers, said they would ensure diamonds became a cultural imperative to women. With increased consumerism and competition, marketeers have to develop new ways to differentiate their product from similar ones. This is demonstrated well by the computer software market, where updated versions of software are constantly being released to contain new features. As part of the marketing strategy, the product must be given an identity or personal brand to set it apart from other products. Research can be used to identify key elements essential to this process. So what is a brand? Well, Michael Peters, a branding specialist, defined it like this. A brand is an experience, the mere mention of which will immediately trigger a host of images, thoughts and expectations in the consumer. We'll go into more detail about this after explaining the 4 Ps. This is a major part of the marketing mix, as it is the only part of the mix that measures the incoming profit made from each product or service sold. The rest of the marketing mix is expenditure or costs rather than profit. So deciding on the right price for something is very important. What will people pay? This has to be carefully balanced with the cost of producing, promoting and distributing a product. There are different methods of pricing which assist in a competitive market. Here are a few. Penetration pricing. This is when the product is priced lower than the existing brands, thus undercutting established markets. Psychological pricing. £9.99 rather than £10. Brand leaders. Products sold at a premium price. For example, Fairy Liquid will be more expensive than Tesco's own brand. Skimming. This is where a high price is set initially because of the uniqueness of the product. This part is letting your consumer know of the existence of a product and what the benefits are. These could be financially beneficial, insurance deals for example, or psychological, which promote the consumer's well-being. This stage involves a decision as to what promotional mix to use. Some of the options available are advertising, sales promotions, personal selling, public relations, direct marketing, and internet and online marketing. All of these methods have strengths and weaknesses. National television advertising, for example, is very costly and as such is used by large companies with the budgets available. Smaller businesses would have problems in affording this type of advertising. However, they could afford to use the internet as a promotional tool, so still being able to compete on the global market. To decide which is the best method to use or what combination, the marketeer also needs to consider whether the product is aimed at a niche market or mass market, where there is a high volume of products but low manufacturing costs. Placement refers to the distribution of a product. This is also essential as it is important to make sure that the product is manufactured in time to be in the correct place to reach the consumer. When distributing a product, we have to consider the following: manufacturing, what distribution channel to use, location of outlets and transport. Let's look at manufacturing. If the product is not ready in time to go out to the distributor for the product's release date, companies will lose sales. For example, in 2005, Polly Pocket Roller Coaster Hotel was promoted in a television advertising campaign before Christmas. However, the demand generated was so high that the company couldn't meet the demand and as such lost potential sales. The distribution channels are also very important. The usual are retailers, direct selling or wholesalers. Branding is how companies differentiate their product from existing products on the market. This is done by developing a distinctive name and look for a product through design and packaging. Some brands are supported by logos which make them instantly recognisable. Let's look at these examples. Do you recognise any? establishment of a brand over a number of years allows a relationship to be built up between the product and the consumer. Consumers will associate particular brands with particular parts of their lives, and then slowly identification and loyalty can be created. For example, in the Second World War, Coca-Cola was shipped out in large amounts free to the troops to remind them of home, signifying the ideological message that to drink Coca-Cola is part of being American, a taste of home. A brand is a construct of identity and expectations. Consumers can cut down on the perception of risk when they choose a branded product. The consumer knows what to expect because a brand gives the consumer information about quality, durability, price and performance. So what are the benefits of a good brand image to the company producing the product? Well, more can be charged for a branded product. It is easy to distribute because retailers know they can sell the goods easily. This is because brand loyalty has been built up. Buzzell and Gale suggests in the PIMS principles that the higher the brand's share of the market, the higher the profits are. Generally, 1 of 3 brand strategies is used. These are family brand name, individual brand names, or combination brand names. Family brand name is when the name is used for a number of products. Take, for example, Heinz. Have a look at these examples. They are all Heinz, but each is a different product. All the trust and goodwill that has been built up around the family brand name is transferred to any new product introduced into the family. Of course, this can be a problem if anything detrimental happens to a product, because it will then contaminate the whole brand image. This is where the brand name is different from the company name. For example, Fairy Liquid and Ariel are both produced by Procter & Gamble. This is when it's thought brand names must be standalone names with an unrelated identity. This is because the representation suggested by some brands is very strong. Advertising is sometimes described as the persuasion industry. Just how do advertisers create desire? Well, we're going to have a look at the following: advertising techniques, sponsorship, product placement, and public relations. We are a sophisticated audience. We already know that what we are looking at is attempting to persuade us. But these techniques work again and again. First of all, weasel words. These are words that are ambiguous, so there is no real meaning attached to them. For example, in washing powder advertisements, we are told that powder washes whiter than white and that it is new and improved. This is when a claim is made that statistically something is proven. For example, this AOL advertisement states that 59% of broadband users have logged on before breakfast time. Now that is a huge amount. Why haven't you? This is a popular technique which is used again and again. A well-known personality is used to endorse a product. For example, Gary Lineker endorses Walker's Crisps. He's been made a constant element through recent campaigns. He has appeared in numerous television advertisements and also appears on the Walker's website. This is when what appears to be an expert appears in advertisements to give credibility to a product. For example, look at some of the injury helpline advertisements. The presenters are usually smartly dressed so the audience trusts their judgments. The language is formal and professional sounding. This is when advertisers capitalise on nostalgic memories of their audience or idealistic remembering of a past time. The Hovis ads demonstrate this perfectly. Hovis was represented as part of simple values, a sense of community, a time we would all like to still be part of when everybody cared about everybody else. Each ad told a short story through first-person narrative of an older gentleman looking back at what happened to him when he was a little boy. This technique tends to be used mostly in beauty ads, commonly using phrases such as, "You're worth it." These advertisements can be quite voyeuristic in style and reflect some of the concerns highlighted by Laura Mulvey in 1975. She suggested that everything is created from the male perspective and that women are viewed as pleasure objects for the male gaze. Have a look at these.
Victoria's Secret would like to announce that Body by Victoria is back. Body by Victoria, the world's best seamless lingerie, is now even better. Victoria's Secret's Body by Victoria. All you'll see is curves.
A company can sponsor, in whole or in part, an event or programme. For example, Cadbury's are sponsors of Coronation Street. They use the soap as a shop front for new and established products. These ads reflect the narrative style of the soap and usually show short compressed narratives of their own. Companies may sponsor events and as such get their logos at the event. Look out at football matches and count up how many company logos you can see around the pitch. Sometimes the company name can even be the name of the event. For example, in football there is the Coca-Cola Championship and Barclays Premiership. Here's a tip. Examiners want to know you're engaging with the media, so take each of these techniques and find examples on television, the internet and in the press. You can use this information in your exam. This is where products are placed within media text, so we note them on an unconscious level. This is, in some ways, rather like celebrity endorsement, because we may choose to buy a product to emulate a character which we aspire to be like. For example, James Bond drives BMWs and drinks martini, shaken, not stirred. We've all heard of public relations, but generally people don't really understand what it is. There are different interpretations of what the term means. Crisfield suggests the essence of this approach is that communication is used as a form of propaganda, a one-way information source, a persuasive tool. Another model he identifies is public relations as a source of information rather than any emphasis on persuasion. He uses examples of public bodies to emphasize this model, such as government information on health or crime. Both these models fit into the advertising techniques banner. However, public relations can also be a communication channel between customers and retailers. Look at the information available from Heinz baby food on the web. So, how should we advertise? Which method should a company use? Should the company use television, radio, cinema, or internet? Firstly, we have to consider the audience. Who is the audience? Where are they? The aim is to expose the maximum percentage of audience to the marketing message. The following case study used a number of different avenues for a public information message. They spread the message across several different media forms, so there would be a high percentage of the audience exposed to the message. Crisfield points out that exposure to a media campaign is not enough. Just because we are exposed to an advert, it doesn't mean we take in the message. However, the more times we're exposed, the more likely we are to take in the message. All campaigns are going to be limited to time and budget, so sometimes the frequency of exposure can suffer. So let's go back to our audience. Research must tell us where to reach the target audience. What do they do? Where do they go? What do they read? Which radio station do they listen to? This research and the available budget will help decide which is the best method to reach the audience. Internet and technology has brought down the cost of marketing compared with other media, such as television and glossy magazines. However, although less expensive, it can be more time-consuming as you have to maintain a website and keep its visibility high on the search engines. Other methods include pop-ups or buying banner ads on user sites. Incentive advertising can also be used on the website. Sendit.com, for instance, operate an affiliate scheme which pays other companies a commission for each customer directed to the Sendit website. Internet advertising is also effective as a company's shop front, where the consumer can buy online directly. An excellent example of this is Amazon. Technology has also demonstrated huge advantages for companies who have the budget to advertise on television. With the introduction of interactive television, new opportunities have appeared. Unilever ran an interactive ad in 2001 for Chicken Tonight, which was endorsed by Ian Wright. The ad produced a 70% higher response than normal advertising. Interactive advertising can turn into public relations as companies can direct consumers via click-throughs to information sites.
Hi, I'm Sarah Rivers. Welcome to my crib. Through here is my kitchen. Absolutely no idea what's in it. I've been over here in LA 5 years now. After my fairy tale came true in a London department store, I was spotted while out shopping with my nan. One of those mad things that you think will never ever happen to you, but it did. Here I am. This is where I come in and chill out with all my friends with a big bucket of popcorn. Follow your dreams because you never know where life is going to take you. Come and see my pool.
He was their #1 agent. Now, he's their #1 target. One man against the system that created him.
How do I know I can trust you? Find him, bring him in, now!
But they picked a fight with the wrong guy. The Betrayal, starring Scott Smith. And what critics are calling the most electrifying performance this